You are already familiar with ratios. A proportion is simply two ratios on either side of an equal sign. So if we look at this proportion here, then the numbers B and C in blue are called the means. The numbers A and D in red are called the extremes. Just remember that anything in the denominator cannot be 0. So neither B nor D can be 0, because when you divide by 0, the result is indefined or undefined. You're also used to taking cross products, and basically what you're doing is, if you look over here at 2 over 3 equals 4 over 6, you're multiplying 2 by 6 and you're multiplying 3 by 4, and what you get is that 12 is equal to 12. If there are numbers and if you had letters instead, or algebraic expressions, you can do exactly the same thing. The geometric mean is not the same as the arithmetic mean. The geometric mean of two positive numbers, and that's the important thing to remember, it's two positive numbers A and B, is the positive number x. So you only start with positive numbers A and B, and the mean is also going to be a positive number. So later on you will see how we find the geometric mean. Let's look at some problems right now. It says simplify the ratio 2 yards to 4 feet. Before you do anything, you must have both the numbers in the same unit. So what you need to do is use a conversion factor to convert yards to feet. You could do it the other way around too. And what we'll do is we want the ratio of 2 yards to 4 feet. So 2 yards over 4 feet equals yards. So 2 yards the conversion factor is that there's 3 feet in 1 yard over 4 feet. Okay, the units here cancel out and you get 6 feet over 4 feet. So the feet cancel out, and you always reduce a ratio to its lowest form. You do not convert a ratio into a decimal. You leave it as an improper fraction. So the ratio of 2 yards to 4 feet is 3 to 2. Okay, the area of a rectangular garden is 128 square feet. I always like to draw a picture, so I'm going to draw a rectangle and I'm going to say area equals 128 feet squared. The ratio of the width to the length is 2 over 1. So 2 over 1 is the ratio in its lowest form. Note that I can write it like this, 2x over 1x, where x is a multiplier. Note that I can reduce 6 over 3 to 2 over 1. I can reduce 8 over 4 to 2 over 1. So I don't know exactly what the original ratio was, but in its reduced form it's 2 to 1. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to label my width and my length. So let's say the width is 2x and the length is 1x. I know area of a rectangle is length times width, so it's 2x times 1x. I also know that it is 128 feet squared. So 128 feet squared is equal to 2x squared. So let's continue over to the right. I'm going to divide both sides by 2 because I'm solving for x squared. So I will get 64 feet squared is equal to x squared. Take the square root and take the square root, and you get x equals plus or minus 8 feet. In this context, negative 8 doesn't make any sense. It would be an extraneous solution. So square root of 64 is 8 and square root of feet squared is feet. Have we answered the question yet? Not quite. The width is 8 feet, so we would say width of rectangle equals 8 feet. Length of rectangle is 8 times 2, it's 16 feet. Do a quick mental check. 16 times 8 is 128 square feet, so I have a check on that. Okay, next problem. A triangle's angle measures are the extended ratio of 1 to 2 to 3. So the first thing I'm going to do is, let me write it as, I know this is in reduced form, so I'll write it 1x to 2x to 3x. Find the measure of the angles. Okay, I know that the sum of the 3 angles of a triangle equals 180 degrees. So if I was to draw a picture like that, 1x, 2x, 3x, those are the angles, and if I add them up, 1x plus 2x plus 3x is equal to 180 degrees. I get 6x I get 6x is equal to 180 degrees. Divide both sides by 6 and get x is equal to 30 degrees. Have we answered the question? The question says find the measures of the angles. So the measures are going to be x. The measures, always answer the question. The measures of the angles are 30 degrees, 2x would be 60 degrees, and 3x would be 90 degrees. Do a quick check. Yes, that adds to 180. In fact, I'm going to draw a schematic here. So my triangle is actually something like this. It's a right triangle. Find the geometric mean of 18 and 54. Let's just remind ourselves of the proportion. We said a over x equals x over b, where a and b are your two numbers here, and x is your geometric mean. So you have 18 over x equals x over 54. Cross multiply, so x squared equals 18 times 54. Now you're going to take the square root of both sides. So the easiest way to do this is to look for perfect squares. The largest perfect square that is a factor of 18. I think that's 9 times 2. And what is the largest perfect square that is a factor of 54? I think that's 9 times 6. So for every pair I can take one outside the radical sign. And now let's look at 2 and 6. I can factor 6 as 2 times 3, so I have another pair, and It's 9 times 2 root 3, so this is 18 root 3. You could also do a factor tree and look for pairs that way, but you must leave the answer in simplest radical form, which means there must be no perfect squares under the radical. Under the radical, all you should have is prime numbers. So 18 root 3 is the geometric mean of 18 and 54.